What kind of inspired me to do this is that I really wanted to make a Christmas film. And this was in the winter of 2007. And I was listening to some Christmas music. It wasn't your typical Christmas music, and it was it sounded like it could be a soundtrack. And I started imagining this American freezing to death on Christmas Day in Bastogne, which really happened. You know, Bastogne, the Battle of the Bulge in World War II, one of the most popular, one of the most famous battles of World War II. And they were there on Christmas Day, and it was really cold and it was snowy, and so I imagined this story kind of unfolding in that setting.
So basically, when Ammon came to me with the story idea, Ammon came up with a story concept and came to me, and I said, "Hey, I got some ideas. I can help with this." So Ammon and I, a couple other guys, sat down and wrote the script and banged it out in a couple of days.
We started writing this script and started putting it all together, and we wanted to get this done really quick because the moment that I dreamed the whole idea up, it was about a month before Christmas, and I wanted it done by Christmas. And so we wrote the script quickly, and I think that it actually is really good writing for how quick we threw that together. Much thanks to Jason. I can think of things and I get the idea, but I'm not very good at communicating.
Everybody knows I don't edit because it's crap. I hate editing, and Ammon came up with the editing, and
that's something that he certainly can do. And so he helped put a lot of the ramblings that I had about what I wanted into a well-worded sentence.
We already had all the equipment, all the gear, everything we needed for the actors. We just needed actors for it, so that's kind of one of our downfalls, is finding people that will work for free.
And it's very short notice. How are you going to do this? Well, we had Quint Ewell, my cousin, working with us on this, and decided, he kind of has the look of a young person that you might kind of imagine as a soldier that doesn't necessarily want to be there, but he believes in the cause and so forth. Had the kind of the young innocent look to him, and so I kind of imagined him for that part, and I think that he pulled it off rather well. I think he did a good job portraying that. And he had a friend named Zach Bullock, and Zach helped out in this film as a boom holder, but he also played a medic and had a few lines, and so we were able to scrounge him up and get him in the uniform. We found another person, a friend of mine that I grew up with from the old ward when I was awfully young, and he's now a cop. His name is Russell Collins. We got him, and he was willing to fill a suit. And of course we had to have Jason in it. He's been awfully good at putting World War II uniforms on for the past 6 years that we've been working on this film that's still not done. Anyway, so of course we had him in there and gave him lines. And as far as the sergeant goes, we wanted somebody that looked a little bit older and could come across a little more believable that he is the leader of this group in Bastogne. And we found a guy that is in my ward that he, believe it or not, was actually a former paratrooper. I believe it's the 82nd Airborne that he was in, which he was a little irritated to put on a 101st Airborne uniform because that's their competition. 101st gets all the credit. In reality, the 82nd was actually there in Bastogne as well, apparently. So, anyway, but he was willing to swallow that and come aboard, and he's a pretty funny person when the camera's not rolling. He's goofing off quite a bit.
Okay, rolling, and action! Cut! That was pretty good.
I have the snow in my nose.
So how do you feel, Arnold?
Right now I am very cold. I have water in my nose because they are throwing things at me. Stop it! I will kill you. And I'm cold and I have It is a form of Tourette's only found in Austrians, where we are every now and then we find ourselves, we are there, and we are I will kill you. Look, you got snow on my Thompson. It's a submachine gun. Look at it. It's all snowy now. It'll rust. When I try and shoot the bad guys, there will be rust on the bad guys.
It kind of made it a little bit funner, I guess, for the day because it was freezing cold, and a lot of people didn't want to be there about 5 minutes after getting out of the car.
That's all I have to say about that.
Sweet. Forrest Gump 2 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
My name is Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump. Mama always said life is like a box of schnitzel. You never know what you're going to get.
We went to American Fort Canyon to film this. This is where I imagined it. The reason why is because I imagined, I wanted it to be snowing because it really was snowing on Christmas Day after doing the research on that. Christmas Day, 1944 in Bastogne. And I wanted the snow to be there because it's a Christmas film. Anyway, kind of planned on that, and it happened to be snowing, so that was good. We went up to American Fort Canyon and had, some of the right wooded area that looked about right, although there are no mountains in Bastogne, and hopefully it doesn't look too mountainy there, but it probably came across a little bit more rugged terrain than it's supposed to. But it worked, and it looked good. Jason was awfully nice enough to say, hey, well, let's use your camera, even though we brought his equipment, and the moment that he saw the blizzard that we'd be working in, he said, you know what, let's just in case, let's just use yours, and we'll keep mine as, in case we needed a second camera.
As we had the cameras out in the weather, we and because I didn't want to use my camera and get it wet, which ruins electronic equipment, obviously, we would force Damon to use his camera, and he was fine with that because he felt like this was more his project than anything, which he tends to take over sometimes, and I got to bring it back down, But anyway, we noticed, or Ammon noticed, that after he filmed the second day, he noticed that there were some audio glitches, and he had to have Charles House come in and do some re-editing and re-audio and match the two audios as best as he could, which he did a pretty good job of that. But he wouldn't have had to do that had he not got his camera wet. See, what I did was I put kind of two and two together. Water and electronics usually don't go together very well, and I thought, if I get my camera out, it's probably going to ruin it. And lo and behold, it did. Ruined Ammon's camera. So, surprise, surprise, I told Ammon that, and it worked out to my advantage.
Like we said before, we got this filmed in 2 weeks, and it was just 2 Saturdays. The first Saturday that we went there, the problem was that the German, who I didn't tell you about, but we found a guy that went to Germany on his mission and speaks German, and he also appears as a German in our upcoming film, Letter to a Friend, which he played that part years before we ever made Bastogne Christmas. But you'll see him later when that film actually finishes up. Anyway, he was willing to play this part, and we got him out there. His name is Charles House, and problem is that he couldn't be there the first Saturday. So we ended up saying, well, we know it's going to take 2 Saturdays to do this anyway, so we'll film all of the American side of this, and any time that we need to show all of the Americans and the German in the same shot, I will just fill the Nazi suit. And so I did. So anytime that it shows all of the Americans in the shot and it shows the German holding the private hostage, it's actually me in that suit. And we figured that would work, and so that's what we did. Problem is the second week we went up there, we finally had the German, but a lot of the other guys who were actors in it, such as Jason, and the guy from my ward that plays a sergeant, his name is Jared Pedroza, they couldn't be there. And so we had to film all of the Nazi stuff, and we were lucky enough to get some over-the-shoulder shots of these Americans with Russell Collins showed up again. And so we kind of showed his shoulder occasionally looking at the German. And so it kind of gave the impression that everybody was there at the same time, the same day. Well, we ran into some other problems. We planned on those problems, and it would have worked great, except for we went back up to American Fort Canyon to film it in the same spot. And, you know, as you may know, we had some issues.
I packed up my stuff and went to California, and Ammon was left to film the last day, shoot the last day, and apparently got busted by the what do you call those guys? The Mountie. Anyway, got busted by him and said something about bringing all the weapons in and weren't allowed to have it on national forest, some crap like that, some anti-gun lobbyist crap like that.
Some rangers were up there that worked for the government, these Nazis in my opinion, said, oh, you can't be here with those guns and those weapons, and you can't be dressed like that here, and we're going to call the police, and what is your name, and what are you doing here? And they started in on us, and it was just 5 minutes after parking the car and getting out, and I'd already paid to go up there, which you think that, you know, it's a public place. I didn't realize that I'd have to pay to get there. Anyway. They said that everything we were doing there, we're about to do, is illegal, and it's actually not. But of course, everybody, you know how liberal this country is nowadays. It's really sad. So we were kicked out of there, to make a long story short, and now we had to go find a whole nother location. How are we going to find another location that looks similar to where we've already filmed the previous week and make it look like it's all the same place with all the same people? And here's the other issue. The second day of filming, and on and off of the first day, it wasn't snowing, and then it is snowing, and then it's not, then it is. So how do we get that to even match and add up? It's going to be a problem. So we went to my grandpa's house, because that's a place that we rely on. We know that we're not going to get kicked out of there, and he's got this wooded forest out back. So we went there, and, you know, we did all the lines and hoped that it would all work out. And near the end of that the shot, we were filming some of the most important lines of the whole movie, which is, what is the meaning of Christmas? What is this message that we're trying to portray as the German is teaching this young American? What are we trying to get here? Well, as the German says his lines, he does a great job, looks good. I get back home and play the footage, and all of a sudden there's audio glitches, and the tape was horrible through that part. We had some fuzzy parts, even though it's a digital camera, it had digital glitches. I was able to salvage some of the footage of the video, but I couldn't salvage all of the audio clips. And so I had to call Charles House, the German, he's not really German, but you know what I mean, the guy playing him, and said, hey, I need you to meet me again real quick. We're going to record just the audio of your lines and then try to match it to your mouth as you're saying them from before. So you'll notice as you watch the film, especially if you're paying attention to it, you'll notice that as he speaks and says these most important lines of the whole film, that there's something different about the words he's saying. It didn't quite match some of the audio that you heard from the couple words before. Suddenly it sounds a little different. Well, it's because we were in a different environment when we filmed it. There was less wind and so forth, and it sounds funny, but that's the best I could do, except going back out there and refilming the whole thing, which we were not going to do.
Christ was born on this day, who give man forgiveness and mercy. Your Father thinks of you this day, and He waits for you to come home and say these words. This is what Christmas is all about.
That second day, even though it wasn't snowing that day, it was so cold, and we were freezing. I have to give kudos to my cousin, Quint Ewell, he rolled around in the snow and purposely stuck his hands into the snow for minutes and minutes, and it was so bitter cold, just so he could be shaking his hands and look really cold, and so we could see the temperature there. And he did that, and he was very cooperative and never complained about it. Did a good job. Hats off to Charles for coming back out and filming those lines again, or recording those lines again. He didn't have to, and he did. Overall, it turned out good. You'll notice some digital snow that I added in to of the parts where it's snowing when it shows the sergeant and the rest of the group, and then it cuts to the German with the private, and it's not snowing, and it's another location and everything. Well, I added some digital snow and tried to even out the colors from the day to make it look like it's the same day. And hopefully you buy it and it's not distracting the differences you see, and the message is still sent across. There was a few lines that were a little kooky that we put in there. We didn't put it in there purposely, but as the private is defending the German, he says, a few funny lines in there about saying that he's a nice guy.
Ready? Action! What was my line? He's okay. He's a good guy. He's okay. He's a good guy.
And it takes a lot of good acting to actually say those lines without sounding a little fruity. And some of those lines, as he tried to say those lines, we couldn't help but laugh because it sounded so ridiculous. But I think in the film you won't notice that. I think Quint did a really good job throwing those lines out, and it's one of the most tense parts of the whole film as he's defending this German about in saving him from being shot and saving his life, and it comes across rather well in the film.
Don't shoot. Just don't shoot him, okay?
Explain yourself, Private.
He's okay. He's not going to kill me.
In the past, some of our films have kind of lacked a little something, and we usually pull that in with narration. And a lot of our stories are told in a narrative, and this story not being any different than that. The end of the story, we wanted to piece together the end and really give our message of Christmas. And we were looking for someone to do the voiceover, and I'm not one that really has a voice for voiceover. Ammon doesn't really find himself as a voiceover actor either. We had a couple of choices. We had our father-in-law Merle, who's done some voiceover work for us, but we kind of, Ammon had somebody from his old ward, and I too have heard this guy because he was in my ward, talking sacrament, and I thought, man, this guy has a really powerful voice, and if there's any way we could get him to do this for us, it would just kind of tie the whole thing together and drive that powerful message of Christmas and the birth of our Savior. And he agreed to do it, and it was perfect. I don't think you could have asked for a better voiceover. He got in, he got it done quick.
Does that sound all right?
That sounds about right, yeah. That's what I'm looking for.
I've had countless Christmases over the years. Many were memorable because of the joy and excitement seen on my children's faces. Other Christmases became memorable by
It happened within a few hours. He was in and out, and very professional, and we really appreciate the fact that he did this for us, and it really helps when all the pieces come together in the end, and it seemed to come together in the end of this film. Even though we had some problems, every one of our films we go out, we have a few glitches here and there and things we have to work through, but we usually work it out, and everything usually comes together. So
it's the message of Christ and forgiveness and mercy. The reason why we have all of those things is because of Jesus Christ. That's why we celebrate his birth, and we celebrate the fact that we can repent, be forgiven for our shortcomings, and we should also forgive others for those, and that's what brings people together.
And there was a reason why we picked the German to have a little bit more of the Christian attitude than the American. And the American is the one that actually learned the lesson from the German, who was actually fighting for the evil side, you know. And so there was kind of a reason why we wanted to show that the German was actually teaching him a lesson.
I loved the idea of adding in the fact that the German, after he's taken as a prisoner of war, we have it narrated in there that he was taken to a prison camp in the United States, which is a fact also, that many of the Germans who were taken prisoner were shipped to the United States and put to work on farms and so forth to help in the war effort on the American side. And those prisoners overall, considering they are prisoners and our enemies, were treated rather well. I liked the idea of mentioning that this German was taken to the United States as a prisoner of war, and even after the war was over, he stayed in the United States and became a citizen. Another idea to show that this German, even though he was fighting, he was doing it for his country because he is a German. But he believed in Christ and in the message, and he found that happiness that he's been looking for in the United States, and so it shows that this guy was a decent guy, as were many Germans who were forced to fight for their country because they lived there.
Even though two opposing sides are fighting against each other every day and brutally killing each other and killing others, that somehow, because of the message of Christmas and the whole point of Christmas and the whole point of the birth of our Savior, men can come together even in times like that and show love for one another and love for fellow man. I really want to thank not only our voiceover actor, our narrator, but all of our actors who came out and helped us out. None of them are professionals, and every one of them ended up doing a pretty good job, and appreciate it, and actually made it worthwhile, and helped us piece together a decent film. So hope you enjoy it, and keep in mind that the actors are all involved in intricate part of this too. So enjoy the film, and Merry Christmas to you again, and yeah.
Game show over yet? We're saving you.
You saved Private Ryan.
You saved me.
It's funny because it'd be like, Private, I'm sick of him. Shoot that camera, man. Drop the camera.
That's all. No.
Rolling action.
Prescott Riley! Riley! Kick your ass!
And action.
Sarge! What's the line?
Rolling action.
Hey Sarge, why are we debating if we're gonna kill the enemy or have a picnic with them? Let's drop him!
Action.
Hey Sarge, why are we debating whether to have a picnic with them or drink tea?
Why are you filming me?
All right.
It's what do you know about Christmas, Kraut? Am I still on him with the gun?
What do you know about Christmas, Kraut?
Am I yelling at him?
Well, you say soft.
a little more soft. Yeah, what do you know about Christmas crowd?
So now maybe I've dropped my gun though.
Never mind, man.
No, but you still got it pointed. Maybe you lower it slowly as you say the line.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that. Action! Wait!
Wait, Sarge!
Act a little better, no.
If you had the real gun, you could do a better job.
Okay.
You're an officer. Come on. All right, and action.
What are we waiting for, Sarge? Let's just shoot him!
This is us behind the scenes. Get back in position.
Hey, handle the attention being taken off.
This is my shot here. This
Okay.
is my shot. I only get 2 shots.
And
Don't do that.
action.
What are we waiting for, Sarge? Let's just shoot him!
Good. One more time.
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, and action.
Shoot him!
Take
Take the shot!
I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him. Let me shoot him. He's gay. Okay.
Let me shoot him?
Let me shoot him. Yeah, shoot him. Shoot him, Sarge. Let me shoot him. Yo. And action.
Let me shoot him! Let me shoot him! I got it! Let me go! Oh, I know. I lost my words. I gotta let him go.
Hey, shoot him, Sarge.
Let me get a line.
Let me shoot him. Like that.
Okay.
Roll it. Action.
Shoot him!
Drop it. Just drop the weapon, Kraut. Just put it down nice and slow. Nice and slow, and we don't have to end this way. Just drop it. Drop the weapon. Drop it. Put it down. Put it down nice and slow. Come on, put the pistol down. Don't poke it in his ear.
Action.
Just drop it. Just drop the weapon. Just drop the weapon. Nice and slow, Kraut. Nice and slow.
Again.
Action. Shut up!
No.
Shut up!
Okay.
Shut up.
Shut up! Shut your pie holes! I swear I'll punch you in the uvula. Shut up!
All right.
Well, you can tell who isn't cold.
Here. Are you freaking taping?
You know, like we both look up at the same time or something, and then right then he freaks out.
Wait, should I like completely tackle him or
shoot that later.
drag him out?
Let's
drag
shoot
him
that
out?
after. Right? No, you don't completely tackle him. You just put the gun right to his head.
Like
you put it to the temple of his head.
Just tackle me like on the snow.
And you're aggressive.
Ooh, I like aggressive.
No, you have it like literally poking his head.
now,
Like you got your
what
arm
am I
around
like
me.
behind? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You jump up, grab.
Okay.
and just-
You kind of pull his other arm around with his other arm, with
Okay.
your arm.
Do you need to see
yeah.
No, it's good. No, it's good.
Today, film now.
Okay, ready? And action. Cut. Come back. Okay, let's pull the gun out first and then do it. Good idea. I'll just stick it right there.
Oh yes.
Woo! Man, that stunk. All right, ready? Action.
Okay.
Whoa, I guess I gotta wait for you to say action, huh? Sorry.
I didn't say action. I just went. Stop whistling. He thinks that means action.
No, I
He's not a
wasn't
dog,
sure.
is
It's
he?
okay. Hey, I'm new at this,
Well,
you guys.
He is a German.
To him, that's the way you guys relate.
That's right.
Okay.
Hold on a second. No grins. You get out of here.
hold the script.
You're dancing or something. All right. Action.
Ich tue es, ich schieß ihn, halt, halt, ich schieß ihn.
Rolling. Action.
Ich schieß ihn, halt, halt, bleib stehen, ich schieß ihn, halt, halt.
Rolling. Action.
Ich schieß ihn, halt, halt, ich schieß ihn. Bleib stehen, ich schieß ihn, halt.
Feels good. Roll. Action.
Ich schieß ihn, bleib stehen, ich schieß ihn, halt, halt, ich schieß ihn, bleib stehen, bleib stehen.
He's a good guy. You can't get any queerer than that.
I'm just a boot bike man. And action.
He's okay. He's a good guy.
That was a little sexy. the hand is what did it.
Should I just leave it out or what?
I think
It's
at
all
this
pink,
I
time,
don't
too.
think you need the.
maybe
you
you
need the hand.
your hand. It doesn't need like the whole time you're not a statue. I think you go. He's okay. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I don't think you have to have your hand there anymore. Rolling action.
Seems to me you live your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. Woo! Get that reaction.
That was great. Thanks for that. Okay, now that we're motivated,
Dedicated and suffocated.
Okay, let's